Renegade Immortal Chapter 99. The Stone Bead Changes. Hello, welcome back to my channel, Books with AR. As for Wang Lin, after the pressure disappeared, his expression darkened. Ye Zizai had left the moment the pressure appeared. There must be something going on here, he thought. Although Ye Zizai had left, the Corpse Sect was even more on alert right now. After thinking about it, Wang Lin thought that this might not be a good opportunity, so he spread out his divine sense. But just as his divine sense touched the walls, it was blocked. Only the holes in the wall didn't block him. But the holes were filled with yin energy and were very deep. Even after Wang Lin went more than 100 meters into the hole, he still hadn't found anything strange. However, the yin energy became even more powerful, to the point where his divine sense couldn't withstand it anymore and was showing signs of collapsing. He pondered for a while. He didn't act rashly and firstly withdrew his divine sense. He calmed his heart, then formed a few seals as all of the spiritual energy in his body began to work. Then a layer of deep blue light appeared on his body. After the light appeared, it formed a whirlpool that sucked in all of the white gas. All of the disciples that were cultivating inside the Corpse Sect had just recovered their senses from the pressure. They were all in shock as they could clearly feel the yin energy decreasing while Wang Lin cultivated. Because the yin energy came from a mysterious place deep underground, they were all very surprised. When Wang Lin saw the endless stream of yin energy coming, he quickly stopped absorbing it and started to digest the yin energy in his body. While he was cultivating, he suddenly felt the area where he held the bead turn cold. He quickly took out the bead and found that countless drops of liquid had gathered on it. Wang Lin was immediately surprised. It has to be said that the one weakness of the Heaven Defying Bead was that there was no spiritual energy inside, so he had to drink spirit liquid to keep cultivating inside. But the effect of the spirit water decreased with usage. Only spirit water from dew maintained its effectiveness. But collecting dew was too slow. That's why he hadn't been training inside the bead after he started cultivating the underworld ascension method. However, he had been collecting dew to use every now and then. Now, for some odd reason, the heaven-defying bead suddenly produced this much liquid. He could clearly feel that the liquid contained yin energy, and the amount of spiritual power wasn't any less than that of spirit liquid made with dew. Wang Lin took a deep breath. Without a word, he started to gather the liquid. After he finished collecting all of the liquid, his eyes lit up as he began to cultivate yin energy again. Immediately, white gas appeared. This time, he kept his divine sense on the stone bead and noticed that some of the white gas entered the stone bead, causing several drops of liquid to appear on it. Wang Lin revealed a joyous expression. Just like that, he collected a gourd of spirit liquid. The gourd had completely changed color. It was now a dark blue that emitted a ghostly light. Even when Wang Lin touched it, he felt a bit cold. If anyone else were to touch it, just an instant of contact would allow the yin energy to invade their body and freeze their blood, muscles, and bones. He carefully put away the gourd inside his bag of holding. As he took out another gourd, his gaze suddenly locked on the stone bead. There was originally only one leaf on the bead, but now there was a second leaf that was symmetrical to the first. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. According to C2 Non, the bead needed to absorb the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Only after that would the bead truly be unlocked and acknowledge an owner. The water element was already full, which is why the clouds on the bead had disappeared. The leaf indicated that it needed wood element. But wood element materials were hard to find. When Wang Lin checked the market in Tang Family City, he found a few, but their prices were all extremely high, and he didn't know how to make the bead absorb them, or even if those materials were enough to complete the bead. So he gave them up. But looking at it now, there was an extra leaf on the bead. This caused Wang Lin to go into deep thought. After carefully looking at the bead for a long time, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. He was no longer in a rush to leave, at least until the bead finished evolving or until he figures out the secrets of the bead. But there were still things that needed to be done. Wang Lin put away the stone bead, and his hand formed a seal that shot out a beam of blue light toward the wall. When the blue light hit the wall seemed to melt. A hole opened in the cave. Wang Lin went through the hole and went the originally planned route. The tunnel wasn't long, so it didn't take much time for him to reach the other cave. Just as he came out of the tunnel, he suddenly stopped as he saw Mu Rong sitting there, cross-legged. Mu Rong stared at Wang Lin and said, "Ancestor, please go back. The first ancestor left an order stating that no one may leave their personal cave. Ancestor, please don't make it hard on me." Wang Lin's gaze swept the room as he nodded and took a few steps back, turned around and headed back towards his own cave, thinking to himself that the situation had changed. Wang Lin understood that the Corpse Sect had strict rules, but no matter how strict they were, there was no need to place a mid-stage foundation establishment expert outside his room. Before, when he arrived, he clearly remembered that the person in that room was a 13-layer key condensation disciple. Thinking about this, Wang Lin went towards another exit inside his own cave. After a while, he came out of the tunnel into a smaller cave, but just as he took a few steps out, he immediately stopped. On the floor of the cave sat a youth dressed in black. He coldly looked at Wang Lin without a word, and behind him was a green coffin. Another mid-stage foundation cultivator? Wang Lin's pupils shrank as he backed up and left, and it wasn't until he went really far that the youth's divine sense finally stopped locking on him. And so Wang Lin checked all 11 tunnels connected to his cave. Aside from the 5 that were sealed, the other 6 all had foundation establishment cultivators guarding the cave, and one of them even had a late-stage foundation cultivator. Wang Lin returned to his cave with a heavy heart as he sat down and began to ponder. All of this was definitely not a coincidence. It was not hard to guess that this was arranged by Ye Zizai to prevent Wang Lin from leaving. Wang Lin frowned. Of the 6, besides the one late-stage foundation cultivator, Wang Lin was confident that he could defeat them even if they had a corpse puppet. But this was only the first layer of caves. On the way here, there were over 30 caves. As a result, he is unable to leave in a short period of time, so before he would be able to make it to the last cave, he would be stopped by the late-stage foundation cultivator or even a core formation cultivator from the Corpse Sect. Wang Lin couldn't help but let out a smile. He wished that C2 Nan was awake. If C2 Nan was awake, it would be much easier to leave by utilizing C2 Nan's experience. Wang Lin called C2 Nan a few times inside the bead, but gave up after not getting any response. But Wang Lin knew that if he wanted to leave this place, it was not something he could do in a short period of time. His actions earlier were only to check out the situation. Both of his hands formed a seal and closed the cave, and he began to cultivate yin energy once more. Not only did he have the bead, but his divine sense also entered the holes in the wall. Wang Lin didn't split up his divine sense, but moved all of it as one into one of the small holes. As a result, the range of his divine sense increased greatly. Originally, with his divine sense, his range was 1 kilometer, but the interference from the cave wall was extremely strong, so it was trapped inside the cave. While Wang Lin was cultivating, the white gas quickly gathered towards him. His divine sense was like a thin thread traveling through the tunnels in the walls. Although the tunnels were long, their complexity was amazing. Soon he arrived at the farthest he had ever probed, which was about 100 meters from Wang Lin's cave. After his divine sense reached there, it became difficult for it to go any farther, as waves of yin energy rushed forward. If it wasn't for the fact that Wang Lin was cultivating the underworld ascension method, which made him very resistant to yin energy, his divine sense would have collapsed under one wave of this yin energy. Nevertheless, the speed at which he was probing had slowed down a lot. After an unknown amount of time, his divine sense had reached 300 meters into the tunnel. The white gas that was rushing towards him came in waves until it almost formed a wall that blocked him. Wang Lin clenched his teeth and smashed through this wall with his divine sense. The scene before him caused the Wang Lin who had been sitting there cultivating with closed eyes to open his eyes.